Okay, so here is the third and final 505 Estate I own. And this is the last one I actually bought. This is a 1985 Peugeot 505 S turbo diesel station wagon. It has 181,000 miles. I bought it at 174. This is, in fact, my daily driver. I've been daily driving it since, I'm trying to think, I think probably September of last year. So, yeah, drove it through. I drive it year-round in the winter. I do undercoat it for all of those who are concerned. So, try to keep the rust at bay. I bought this car in August, I believe it was, of 2022, from a gentleman in Boston. Very nice guy. I had contacted him back in 2021 about the car, but he had asked, I thought, personally, was asking a little too much, at least more than I was willing to spend, at least on the car. And so things didn't work out then. And I saw he still had the car back in, I think it was May or so. And I reached out to him, and I went and looked at it, I think around June, sometime in June, and ended up buying it in August. This car replaced my Jeep Grand Cherokee, which I think I did upload a video on some time ago, as my daily driver, and I've been happy about it ever since. I'll get to the exhaust pipe in a minute. You're probably wondering why there's two exhaust pipes. Yeah, I bought it then and actually drove it home from Boston. It was kind of a sketchy drive, to say the least. The tires on the car were very old and dry rotted. They had a lot of problems. Those tires, I don't know what was exactly wrong with them, but they were in very bad condition. So that was a concern. The motor mounts were shot, which made the engine vibrate quite badly, actually. But I actually found a place on the way home that was able to fix that, and they got it done in a reasonable amount of time. I think it was about 2 or 3 hours. But after that, I really just put a set of tires on it and did an oil change and that kind of thing. And I've basically been driving it ever since. I did have to do, I think in about November, a master cylinder, and one of the brake bleeders snapped off, so I had to replace the right front caliper. But otherwise, that's really all I've done to this car. It does need a new set of glow plugs. They're no good. I think they're completely shot. This car is very difficult to start when cold, even when it's 60 or 70 degrees outside. So it does need a new set of glow plugs along with a new relay, I believe. But I think I did a valve adjustment on it and, just went around and cleaned a lot of electrical grounds, because that is a problem with these old 505s. The grounds get very dirty and a lot of lights don't work and certain things like that. Or if they do work, they're not as bright as they should be, and so I just went through it and did those kind of things when I first bought it. But otherwise, I just, I started driving it. And then I think around November, December, I undercoated it with fluid film and did the outer tie rods and drove it throughout the winter. And it served me well. It never gave me any problems. It does have a block heater, so that helped big time, especially when it got down to about 10 or 15 degrees. But it always started. Yeah, I really haven't had many problems with this car at all, really. I've had to do little things to it, I did all the belts. I replaced the vacuum pump belt, and actually I replaced the vacuum pump as well. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, I replaced the vacuum pump belts and the fan belt and the alternator belt. This car, I don't think I mentioned it yet, does not have power steering. So none of my 505s have power steering, or AC for that matter. But yeah, this is a S model, so you get all the goodies that you could get back in 1985 on a Peugeot. And I'll show you some of those in a minute. The real problem with this car, at least on the cosmetic side of things, is the paint. The paint is in very poor shape, as you can see. Let me show you the roof. There's barely any paint left on there. The sides are a little better, but you can see the clear coat is failing there. The bottom of the doors, however, is in actually pretty good shape. This car does feature the 15-inch rims as well, this car, I don't believe originally came with those. It originally came with 14-inch rims, but I think somebody swapped to these. I consider them turbo rims, even though I believe they did come on the STI as well, which was a trim level only for the sedan. That was the top of the line trim. The wagon, the top of the line trim was the S trim, at least in 85. So those aren't really the original rims, but I really do like them. Yeah. It doesn't have much rust, which is a nice thing about this car. Probably my favorite thing about it being that it's from New England. This car spent, I think, most of its life, if not all its life, in Massachusetts before I bought it. As I'll show you some of the stickers, actually. You can see here. See the Commonwealth of Massachusetts sticker. With inspection, I believe. And then on the back, there are some stickers about the Essex transfer station. So I think this car lived in Massachusetts. And then we have a sticker 2001 college in North Andover, Massachusetts. So I think this car basically was in Massachusetts pretty much the whole time, I believe, until I bought it. Some little changes I'll note, from the 84 to 85, 505, especially the turbo diesel is a badge. This badge is for 85 and 86. The earlier badge, and I'll show you one, right over here, is metal. You can see the difference there. So this is not my 505, but that's what the badge looks like. The difference in the badges, something little note that I like to mention. I guess we can go into the interior. Like I said, I put how many miles on it? Gee, I'm trying to think. Quite a bit. I think I put about 8,000 miles on the car now. Since I bought it. I mean, like I said, this has been my daily driver since September of 2022. I've taken it all over the place. I've taken it to, took it to the car aisle this year. There's a sticker. And I took it, I've taken it to, I drove back from Boston. I took it to Rhode Island, meet up with a couple of friends last month. And I've taken it upstate New York. Actually went to Massachusetts and Rhode Island twice in this car. So basically what I'm saying is I'm not afraid to drive far. And it does have a couple problems, but nothing major. But anyway, you see this one features the S blue velour interior. And I mentioned earlier about the floor mat that was from my 84 505 wagon. It now resides in here. It's in pretty rough condition, but I didn't have a floor mat for this one. So I wanted something that I could use in here. But yes, these seats are in pretty much, I'd say they're pretty much as new. Maybe a little fading there on the side bolster. But in very good shape. As I said, it has 181,598 miles. The dash is in actually pretty good shape. As you can see, there's a couple small cracks right there. And then a couple right here. Actually, some more right here as well. And there's your clock. I have never been able to find one of these clocks that actually holds time. I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if I showed it very well on my 85 5-speed wagon. That one, actually you can't even read it. The cluster is, the clock is, I guess, gone bad essentially. This one, you can see it, but it doesn't hold time for some reason. I have no idea why. Anyway, there's your cluster. This is the 85 diesel cluster with the 115 mile per hour speedometer. Here we go. That's the original radio, F microsystems. That was the original radio for 85. Sometime in there, I think they switched to the Alpine Peugeot unit that you saw in my other 85 wagon. But in 84 and 85, at least early 85, this was the factory radio. It is automatic. Unfortunately, all turbo, gas or diesel station wagons are automatic. I don't think Peugeot ever made the bell housing for the heavy-duty BA-10 5-speed that went into the sedan turbo diesel and gas, and I believe the V6. Unfortunately, we never got the V6 in the wagon, and we never got a manual in the turbo gas or diesel wagons. So that was unfortunate. As you can see, I was talking about the seat earlier. This seat, again, I mean, it's in pretty good condition, but you can see the side bolster is a little faded, as well as up here. And that is the original floor mat, I believe. It's in very good condition. I'm actually quite surprised how nice it is. I don't think I've showed you any of the glove boxes in any of my cars. Let me show you this one. As you can see here, a little messy, but the zip tie has it holds up. These cars have little clips that just kind of pop in here, and they hold the glove compartment up, but they always break, and they're almost impossible to source, and when you do, they're very expensive. So I just made this up with a zip tie. It works quite well, actually. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, but S models have power windows. So you can see the little fill-in hole there for what it would have been the hole for the crank on the GL model. Power mirrors on pretty much, I think, all the 505s in 84 and 85. I think 505s before and after actually didn't come with power mirrors. But I think for 84 and 85 they all did. Anything else I can show you in here? Oh, I should mention heated seats in S model 505s. Well, the STIs and turbos also came with those. So pretty neat. Also a leather wrapped wheel and cruise control, another option on an S model. Or I should say standard feature on an S model. Let's go back outside. As you might notice, some of these windows have tint on them. This window is tinted as well. It's hard to tell, and these have this tint here on the rear. Not too crazy about it, but I think I'm just going to leave it. This is really the only upper body rust here. And you saw this on my 85. I think this is a weak point on the 85, at least wagons, is this dogleg area. I think it rusts pretty bad, unfortunately. Mine is pretty solid still, though, so maybe eventually when I get the car painted, it'll be an easy fix. Here's the rear seat. So you see the blue velour once again. I have a lot of maps back here, so excuse the mess. But get an ashtray for each rear passenger. Just a very tidy car, at least inside. I have to admit, this is the nicest. This is the nicest 505 I've ever had, for sure. One of the nicer cars I've ever had. You can see here, we have power antenna. I think that's the original one as well. Now this did have a little incident here. The previous owner told me he had, I think he had ran into his house or something in the fall of 2021, so he banged it up a little bit here. I had to reapply this strip with some glue. It came out a little messy, but it is on there. And so the tail light is a little busted up, as you can see there too. Okay, we'll open the hatch here. This is pretty much more or less how I keep it. See this also, this bumper is pushed in. You can see here. I don't know what happened there, but it's been pushed in. This rear carpet, when it's clean, I haven't cleaned it unfortunately, since this is my daily driver. I don't clean it every day, so it does get a little messy, but this rear carpet is in pretty much immaculate condition. The rails are pretty much perfect. I mean, they don't, unlike the other two you saw where some of them were hanging up or broken, this one does not have that. They're immaculate. It really is inside a very tidy car. The third brake light, which I believe this is the factory third brake light that they would have had to add in 86. I don't know why this one has one. I don't think they had them. All of them had 85. I think somebody added that, I guess. You can see all the stickers that used to be on the back, the remnants of them. Now, you might have saw the two tailpipes. What happened was recently, the exhaust hanger broke. This car has a custom exhaust on it. I don't know when it was put on, but the exhaust, one hanger that they did have holding up the exhaust broke. And in turn, since this is a diesel and the whole engine vibrates quite a bit, the exhaust cracked and broke right at the muffler there. So I've temporarily put this pipe here so that the fumes won't go in the cabin and they'll come out here. That is one of the only rust holes in the rockers right there. I think that might be the only one. But I am going to get that fixed. So one of the two tailpipes. It does look kind of ridiculous. see there, the interior, in very good shape. And just another view from this point. Let's go ahead and open the hood and I'll show you the motor. This is going to be more or less like the other one that I showed earlier, that one there. It's the same exact engine. As I said earlier in the first video, that the 85 sedans got the XD2S, but the wagons didn't get till 86. So the unfortunate thing for people like me who prefer the Series 1 Dash is you can't get a XD3 wagon with the Series 1 Dash. You can only get it with Series 2. But you can swap these, and people have done them before. You can see there's a blockator cord. I did have to replace that. Yeah, so it's the XD2S motor. This is the 85 vacuum pump. I prefer the 84s. They have a little tank that sits over here. This one just runs straight up to the brake boost drive of the fence cut off, because I believe I have a leak there, so I've cut them off temporarily. See, I have the factory fuel filter, Perflux fuel filter. I had to put the fittings on it because they were missing. As I said earlier, the power steering nor the air conditioning work. And there they are right there. I think the air conditioning just really needs a new hose on it, but the compressor does spin. I think it does work. And you can see this car also has fog lights. These were on it when I bought it. I have not replaced them, although I do need a lens on the right side. See, this is the new master cylinder I put on it. I don't think there's really much else to show here. As I said, it's pretty much like the other car. No insulation on the hood, I should say. That has been removed because, as I told you earlier, they like to sag. Let's go ahead and start it up. Now, the one problem with this car there's really two problems that I've been plagued with this car since I bought it. One being that the transmission mount is bad, and the easy way to tell, I don't think you'll be able to hear it now, is if the car was facing downhill, there would be a terrible vibration in the inside. Even when I put it in reverse, there's a terrible vibration, and that's one of the main problems that I have to figure out. But it's not really a big issue, it's just a little noisy. And the second is that the rear wheel cylinders are seeping. And unfortunately, the brake lines going to them happen to be stripped and seized up into the wheel cylinders, so they have to be replaced as well. But let's go ahead and start it up. And as you can see, it starts right up when it's warm. It's just when it's cold, it's been sitting overnight, does it become difficult to start. But it's actually, for a diesel, pretty quiet in here, to be honest. I've driven a couple of these, and this is the quietest one, I think. I think that custom exhaust does quiet it down quite well, at least compared to the factory, if you ask me. Yeah, we'll take a quick look around, and we'll call this a video. It's the exhaust I was telling you about. It's unfortunately broken and rattling now. But I'm going to get that fixed soon. Yeah, that's pretty much there all is to this car. So, not much else to show. Good running and driving daily driver. So anyway, hope you can hear me back here. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.